All right, here we are. I think we're live. Hey guys, happy Monday, August 20th. Don't you love that view in the background? Mm-hmm. See, you probably have a nice little a backdrop. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing. We got the TED Show. Remember, we spend all our money on the morning alcohol. Not for Primrose, though.
No, I had water.
She had water. Mm-hmm. So did I, allegedly. So welcome to the TED Show for Monday. Hey, David, give us a thumbs up. Let us know you can hear us or see us. That's so important. I want to do that here, too. I think we're good. Linda, what's up? Hey, Bob. So let us know you can hear us or see us because Primrose, I got a thumbs up. Primrose drove all the way from that crazy country of DeLand to get to Orlando and the TED Show. So we have been trying to do this for a while. So welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
See, I'm excited to have you. You do so much in this world and have done so much. So I don't know. I hope we can get it all in 30 minutes, or it'll take us another 6 months to reschedule the second one. But tell us a little bit about you. Give us a little bit of background on who Primrose is and how we got to be a doctor.
So here's the story. So I always like to say this part because it makes me really excited. So my parents have been together well over 40 years, been married over 40 years. They met when they were 15 and 18. They're from Jamaica, but met in Connecticut. And then came beautiful me. Yay.
There you are.
Mm-hmm. But I kind of broke the mold, so I'm an
10
only
or 15
child.
years after. Oh, you're the only child.
I'm an only child, yeah. So, yeah, I kind of broke the mold.
That might explain some things we could talk about on the next show.
Forgive me already. So they've been together. My dad joined the military, and we kind of just were like everywhere doing everything. I graduated high school in Germany, and then when it was time to go to college, I decided to come to the Great Bethune-Cookman right there in Daytona Beach because I really liked their lawn. I didn't know about colleges then. And
you like their lawn?
I remember their lawn was really pretty. I know.
Their lawn. Their music is what I know because UCF used to play them.
Oh, so I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah. Amazing. The halftime show was the best thing on the planet.
Yeah, well, still is now. Yeah. But so I just liked their lawn. I came to Florida and I kind of just remained. I had my son, and then I wanted him to kind of have a stable life. And I still just wanted to remain educated, right? So I became a teacher. I taught at Taylor High in Pearson, Florida. So
oh my God, Pearson!
I was in the fern capital.
Still in Florida?
Yes,
that's Volusia, right?
Yes, and it's the fern capital.
It's the fern capital.
Yes, all that pretty stuff with your roses.
Oh yes, I've driven through there for some reason.
Yeah, so I taught there for several years, and someone said I would make a great guidance counselor, and I was like, what? People's problems? And then I went to Stetson University, so go Hatters. And so
I didn't even know they had a mascot.
Yeah, Hatters. Hello.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Stetson.
You didn't leave Volusia much, did you?
No, not after I traveled the entire world, and then I just stayed in one location. And then I went on. I became a guidance counselor at Mainland, so go Bucks. Right, I had to remember all these, so go Bucks. And then my major had been counseling and family therapy, marriage and family therapy. So I did a lot of clinical work in the community, and that kind of jump-started like just my love and my passion for like just growing families and people. And then I went and earned my doctorate from Argosy University, which is in Sarasota. So I did leave.
Oh, you went to the other coast.
Yeah, it's
nice. Was that hard?
Yeah. Oh man. So I earned my doctorate from Argosy University, and I just been moving from there. Right. That's been, maybe almost 10 years now. Though.
So what did you want to do? You wanted to be still in higher ed or in education, or did you want to get into the practice of helping families, marital stuff, which you probably got your master's in or something?
Yeah, so the thing was, at one point, I just wanted to save lives and empower people. And
that hasn't changed much.
Right? But then I still know that, my profession was important, right? So I love education, but here's my passion. Everything that I'm passionate about, I still do. So I love teaching, so I teach graduate classes.
What do you teach?
I love psychology classes.
Of course.
Yeah. So, and family environment.
Have you been diagnosing me the whole time? You probably have.
I said no. I scripted.
God bless you. There's a whole book in that, Primrose. You could write the whole book.
I scripted. I'm going to send it to your wife and say, look at this.
She'll be like, thank God somebody finally agrees.
Knows.
They know.
Right. They'll know. So I just wanted to help people. And so with education, that's a platform, right? And I learned more about kids and what they're dealing with, beyond just coming and learning math and arithmetic and reading. Like there's so many other things that go on in their lives. So I kind of just went from there and became a mentor in the community. Been doing that over 20 years.
What does a mentor look like? So let's talk about community.
Yeah.
All right, and so you're an only child and had an only child.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's fast. That's a whole nother topic,
Yeah.
right? I love it. But you're very, only children have this interesting reputation, so to speak. There's a stereotype, but you're not like that. So we should talk about that at some point. But talk about community. So the name of the show is Community Building. It starts with you. So you talk about mentoring and you talk about community building. What was your first foray into that? What did you hit first? Where did you finally realize, all right, this is what I want to do in the community?
I first realized, so maybe I'll back up just a little bit. I first realized what it looked like when I was in Germany. I had a group of mentors that were from the Deltas, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, which I later became a local president in DeLand.
Of course you
right,
did.
of my my
That's
chapter.
awesome.
And so they were my mentors. So I remembered what that looked like and how important that was for me, because when you're an only child, you don't have the siblings. We were moving all the time, so I wasn't really close to other family members besides my family, my parents. And so when I saw the need with the students, I said, but wait, there's just so much more, and you can't really cover everything in the 8 hours. And they were coming to me at other times, right? They were coming to me at lunch or after school, saying, Miss Cameron, can I talk to you? Can I share this with you and that with you? I said, wow, something else is needed. There was more. And so by the time I started working towards my doctoral degree, I said, you know what, I want to start offering group rap sessions for girls. So I was doing a lot of that, and girls were coming. I was doing grandparents raising grandchildren, so I was mentoring those kids. So I had the opportunity to just learn more about kids and what they needed and what their families needed. And that's kind of where my mentoring
So what do you
started.
think? So I want to talk about the community, and since you have so many activities that you're involved in, but what do you think the greatest need is in the community life? Because you talking about grandparents raising grandchildren, there's so many issues that we are all facing when we're talking about working through our community, trying to make the community better. What do you think some of the biggest ones are that we need the most help in? Or with?
Well, our students directly need mentors and other people in their lives, right? They need positive role models. So I work really hard because I wasn't always like this, right? I mean, I wish I could say that, but I wasn't.
You
so
seem
fast.
like you were always like this.
I wish.
Were you the
but-
quintessential only child at some point?
Yeah, I kind
There
of
it
was.
is.
Ask my mother.
There it
She'll
is.
tell
That's
the truth.
the one. Hey, Marita.
Yeah,
That's the one.
So, I had to learn, and of course the calling had nothing to do with me, it had all to do with another power. But
Amen.
I just learned that the kids needed so much, and they needed that positive role model so that they would have something to strive for. I worked with a group of students. We actually would take a bus that Florida Memorial, although I was a Bethune-Cookman grad, I have love for Florida Memorial University in Miami Gardens, and they would we would get a bus, and I would just bring students who had no thought of going to college. They just had good grades. They were just good kids. And we would go down there every year until one of my mentees became Miss Florida. So shout out to Aurelia, but she became Miss Florida Memorial. So we started
How cool is
growing.
that?
Yeah, and it was kids that they were really good kids, but sometimes higher education looks so far away, right? So something that you can't really tap into because you think, how am I going to pay for it? I'm in a single parent home. How does this work? All of these things. And so we just made them believers.
I think that is so key. I was going to say that, but that's so key. So sometimes it's just about planting the seed, giving them a view of what it could be like, that this is within your reach, and then they tend to begin to reach out more. If all you do is hear about it, or maybe you don't hear about it at all, or other people are talking about it, or it's on TV, that just seems so far out of reach. But if you get it within their reach, if they can touch it, feel it, they're around it, I think that makes such a huge difference. So Florida Memorial, I didn't even know. We'll have to talk about that too, because I didn't know that was a university here in Florida.
Yes, in Miami Gardens.
See, what do I know? I don't know much.
Beautiful.
You're learning, right? This is what my kids are learning that too. You really don't know much, Dad. We talked about kids earlier.
It's who you know. It's really
It's
important.
totally who you know in this
Right,
world.
yeah.
All right, so you are working on several projects, though. You're working on a lot, so talk about those.
So, and I was just sharing it coming in because, driving to Orlando is like a little jog there. But so there are two streams that I've created in the last year. I kind of streamlined all of my efforts because I realized I couldn't be everywhere doing everything, but I could try really hard. And so the two are Sisters Build Network and Calling a Few Good Men. So the Sisters Build Network is a network of women, and we help to uplift and support one another and help us grow. So it's called Sisters Build Network, and we push. So PUSH is the acronym for Pursuing Underlying Strengths and Happiness, right? And so we come together monthly. Good. I'll be in Port Orange tomorrow. We meet monthly in Port Orange and in DeLand. So I met in DeLand last week, Port Orange tomorrow. And then I also offer personal coaching and so forth. So it's a whole membership group, right?
So talk about that, because I think we've talked about this on the show many times. It seems like there's a lot of talk about women empowering other women, but there's a lot of disconnect and discord there. So what do you do differently? What is the program? It brings women of different areas in. Talk a little bit about the program and how it works.
So one of the things that you and I talked about before we went live is the level of consistency needed, right? And so we're really consistent and intentional with what we do. So I consistently, no matter what's going on, meet once a month, except for, I took summer at Primrose, month of July.
So I'm using that. It's going to be 2018 TED.
Yeah,
Tedapalooza.
You just hold on to what you can.
I understand.
But so we meet every month, group of diverse women doing different things. Some are business owners, some work at other businesses, some just want to grow personally and develop. And so we help and meet their needs. And then I offer personal one-on-one coaching, because my background is counseling, things of that nature. So we do that. We actually have a brunch coming up, and so the focus is on her story, because her story is so powerful.
Love it.
And hopefully within telling her story, that will help someone else, right? And push their lives, and knowing that they're not the only person dealing with certain things. And I don't feel like we do that enough. We can see a lot of other things out there and going on.
We talked about this. So when we do our shows, because Primrose has her own show, or two of them actually, and so we talked about this. When you're doing positive stuff, because nobody's arguing or the daddy is, we're not announcing who the parental tests are. Sometimes that's more of a challenge, because people love to feed into the negativity. And what we'd like to do is create the positivity, so it's better. You want people to feel positive. And so, you're trying to get that message out there.
And create a support system.
Right?
So a lot of times as we get older, it's harder to find that BFF, right? Like my BFF is from Germany 25 years ago, right? And so as we get older, folks say, well, Primrose, how is it that you have no problem finding friends? I'm like, one, I'm an only child, so I just make up friends as I go along, right? So I just pick up people.
You collect them.
Yeah.
I get it.
And so I feel like if you create the atmosphere, then other women can feel connected too. And we need each other. People need people. That's my other hashtag.
Agreed.
But people need people. So that's the Sisters Build Network. And I'm actually in works with creating Sisters Build Network for Girls Incorporated, which is going to be a mentoring program for young girls.
That.
Yeah.
That's so amazing.
Yeah. So I was creating one foundation so that we can help push the next. And then we have Calling a Few Good Men, which is a call to action. And so there I tell folks, look, I have a really good dad, so I'm sorry, but I hold men responsible for the lives, accountable and responsible for the lives of our children and our community as a whole, right? So what we do there is I actually create the platform. So it's not a dating service.
Oh my God. I never thought about that.
Some may.
That is so funny.
So one day I'll give you my phone so you can read my
awesome.
Inbox messages. But so it's not a dating service at all.
That's probably one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
So with Calling a Few Good Men Call to Action, what we do there is actually create a platform for men to come out and say that they want to become mentors in our community. And so it's a conference that travels. Like I've held it in Jamaica because I do work in Jamaica. So shout out to Rockabessa, Jamaica. We've held it. I partnered with the police department, and shout out to Bob Davis because he's like my go-to. He wanted it to be called Calling a Few Good Men like Bob Davis. But we didn't. But
we love you, Bob Davis.
We love you, Bob Davis. But he's like my go-to. He's so brilliant. He does so many things. But we partnered with the police department in Daytona Beach with Chief Capri, and we'll be back there next year. It's been held in DeLand. I'm working with Commissioner Smith in Apopka, and we will be holding a conference there as well, and working with one of the local elementary schools so that we can kind of get over 100 mentors in that area.
So how do you recruit your mentors? So you obviously want men who have a desire to mentor it's younger. It's school age, right?
The children are school age, but the
Okay.
men could be of any age. And they don't have to wear suits and ties, things of that nature. They just have to be upstanding men who want to change this world, you
Right.
know? And so they just have to be good guys that will be committed, because that's the other issue.
Absolutely, because a
Folks
lot of
come.
time the kids, especially when you're dealing with kids, they look for that commitment. So if you're not willing to make the commitment, you're just going to be one other person that left them or abandoned them. So critical. I did mentoring in elementary schools, and so the greatest need there, I always made sure, well, they always picked younger guys, boys from me, because they were usually without fathers, without a male influence. And so the principal sat me down and said, listen, Ted, I know you're busy, but if you're not willing to commit to this every single week, they're going to begin to look forward to it. And it's your responsibility. You're the one that's going to be the next person that just 100% disappointed them. So you have to have that commitment. That's critical.
And because I'm not a guy, right? Like I tell people, I'm not a dude.
Not a dude.
At all. So I work with other folks that are building these mentoring programs, right? So like Catalyst Mentoring Program, we have locally. Man Up Mentoring Program with Sean King, we have locally. So I try to work in partnership, because people need people.
Yes, we do.
We partner, and if we all come together, we can really help our children grow and expand in their lives.
I also feel like, so from my experience, if there's any guys that are out there thinking about getting involved, and we'll share all of Primrose's information at the end, but from my experience, it was super cathartic. Like for me, I was like, wow, I got the mentoring I didn't have. And so I think a lot of men go into this, they want to do something they didn't have. And so they go in, and you don't realize what an impact you are making on a child. So it's actually such a cool thing that you're doing. So how does somebody get involved with those two organizations?
So they
just reach
answer
out
the
to you?
call
They answer
by
the
calling a few good men. Yes.
There it is.
So they answer the call. Yeah, they just send me a message. I have men that are always emailing. We have Eddie Molina right out of DeLand. I remember I wrote an article. I write for the Beacon as well. So I write for the local news.
Do?
I know.
I'm starting to feel super not great about myself this morning. Well, me either.
But I wrote an article about calling a few good men, and men actually answered the call. It's the craziest thing.
Awesome.
We actually have a gentleman, Vaughn, comes from Naples to every conference to share his testimony and share his story, right?
Awesome.
Which sets a platform. And then it kind of makes you think like, maybe I should be doing more, you know, like when you hear it.
Yes.
And so you want to be a part of that movement. Who wouldn't want to be a part of a positive movement that's going to help change the lives of kids? I mean,
Well, that's what you want to do. Don't we want to make an impact? And a lot of times people get stuck on well, that's not me, or I can't get involved. It's too far. Do you have Orlando? You said a Popka, but do you do events in Orlando? Do you have a connection in Orlando?
Not as of yet, so I would love a connection in Orlando. I really would love it. I mean, we've gone to Jamaica, right? So I would love to travel from location to location to ensure that we can just change the lives of our young kids.
So do you get involved mostly with the, do you try to work with a sheriff's department, a police department, a local schools?
It only turned out that way. So, it ended up being that way. But whoever contacts me and wants to spearhead it, we go from there. So, you know, with Commissioner Smith, he was ready and answered the call and wanted changes and just a little uplifting manner in Apopka, and so we moved that way as well. So, yeah, it really is nice, though, to work with our police departments and our sheriff departments and things of that nature. Because you put that together, then we have a stronger community.
Now, how is it, I'm fascinated by this, I hope you'll take it the right way, how is it that a woman organized this when you already said that you're not a dude, obviously, but that's such an interesting calling on your life. What made you decide to create, because most of the time you see the men's groups, it's something started by a dude, usually.
Yeah,
so
right.
You're a woman starting a few good men, which I personally love. I love that. So how was that? Has everybody been receptive? When you first had the idea that you go, God or whatever your higher power is, go, no, that's not for me. You must have you called the wrong person.
Well, you know, interestingly enough, when we first started, because I have a team of folks, so shout out to Kamika and Mitzi and folks that believe in my vision with me. Thank goodness, and Tina, for all that you do. So it's women, right? So I just called a few good women to help push a few good men. When we first started, men were saying, in my inbox again, but why isn't a guy doing this? And I said, well, I don't know. Ask your friends, right? Because I'm not a guy.
That's fair.
Right.
Totally
but last year, Ted, and this is the story I start every conference with. Last year, 2017, my parents live in Texas. I went to visit them during Mother's Day weekend. And I spent my time watching my father. And I said to him, like, you're like the coolest dude I know. Like, how is it that you've been with my mom over 40 years, you took care of me, you served our country, all of that. How is it that you just did the right thing? And he's like, Primrose, everybody does the right thing. And I'm like, I don't think you watch TV.
Don't.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, really? And so, I know. So he's going on, and he tells me, just like President Obama. I'm like, Daddy, I'm talking about people that I can call. I can't call him.
Oh, and you still call him Daddy. I love that.
I'm like, really? So he said it, you know what? And I said, you know what? If my father told me the sky was red, I was going to believe him. So I jumped on the plane, I came back, and I said, my daddy says they're out here, and I know children, like my own son, who's had the same mentor, shout out to Jeff Turner, from 9th grade until age 23.
Jeff Turner, Orlando Magic Jeff Turner?
No, I don't know.
Hey, listen, I don't know. It's a small, that's right. You're in Volusia, my
You're
bad.
not Evolution, no.
Different Jeff Turner. Sorry, Jeff.
Totally Jeff Turner.
We're calling you
Unless
out
you
there,
want a
Jeff.
mentor, we're
Jeff,
calling
it's time
you.
for you to mentor.
Yes.
I love Jeff Turner.
I don't know him. But yeah, so, and my son has had the same mentor. So I came back and I said, I'm calling a few good men. My father said they're out there, they're available, they're willing. And so I hold them accountable and responsible for the lives of our kids.
Love that. See, that's the great thing. So that's why I want to encourage people. So Primrose had an idea, and just because the stereotype or the previous notions about how things are supposed to be, like a dude was supposed to start this,
Right.
she broke through that, and she decided she had a mission, she had a calling, and you did it anyway. And I think there's a lot of people on the ledge all the time going, I really want to take the leap, I want to do something for my community, I want to do the right thing, and yet people are telling me I can't. But you had the one person, Dad, in this case, but it could be your mentor, it could be a friend, it could be anybody tell you you can do it, and so you went with it. That's a beautiful thing, which I'm sure you talk about in all of your groups. You must.
I do. And you know what? At some point, I had to say to myself, the lives of our children depend on the next form of action. And so I had to do it regardless, right? That's my obligation.
Agreed.
To this world.
I love that you think of it as an obligation, because it really is. We have an obligation, don't we?
Yeah.
I wish that we would take obligation more seriously as a community as a whole, because I think that if you put that word on people's hearts, I think that they would go, all right, it's just not a choice necessarily. It's my obligation to do better in my community, to do more for my community, which is the message. So we have to kind of get to that. It starts with you. So what can people do? What can somebody do that wants to either mentor? What can they do in their own community? Let's say they can't go all the way to Volusia and they want to be the first person in Orange County or Seminole County that does this.
Well, one is I'm a foodie, so I'll meet you for lunch. And so,
oh my God, I've only fed her water. I feel terrible.
So I'll meet you for lunch and we can change the world, right? So you just start. It doesn't matter. It could be small. I used to mentor one student. I've mentored 8, 25. I still mentor college students. I mentor women, right? So that women can be stronger for their own families and for their community so that they can help others. So the first thing is, and this is the counselor in me, is we first start with self, right?
Self.
And so your affirmations in the morning, you make sure that you're 100%, because if we go out there at 50%, the kids pick up on that.
What's your favorite affirmation? What do you say to yourself in the morning?
I'm wonderful.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I thought that was given. That's what I do. When I look at in the mirror, I'm like,
Yeah.
God, I already know all this. No, you have to repeat it though. It's so important. I'm wonderful.
And then I'm God's child, right? Because
Amen.
I was sharing it with you earlier. Probably the only child in me would say, I don't have time for anything. I really just want to go to the mall, go to sleep.
Serious.
Yeah, and get some rest. But I can't. Like, it means so much more, Others will say to me, well, your child is grown. Why does all of this even matter? I said, because our community matters, right?
Amen.
Every community. So no matter where you are. They say to me every year when I go to Jamaica 3 times a year and I go in my grandmother's community and I'm working there and I'm helping there, it's someone's community, right? And so it needs help as well. So that's the first step.
Love it.
Just with you. And then you just go out there and you partner up, because people need people.
They do.
right?
Listen to that word. You have to partner. We have to become more collaborative in our efforts, because it can't just be a one woman, one man show. We have so many people that want to support the things that we do, also have similar ideas and different resources. So your combined resources can make such a difference to people.
Yeah, because a lot of the things that I do, Ted, don't tell people, but I start with zero budget. Right.
I get it.
So everything's like zero budget.
I understand.
And then,
that's the TED show right there. Zero budget.
And then it comes to fruition because people believe in people.
Yes.
Right? And so once you do that, we really change the world, and we really can help the lives of children. So wherever you are, Orlando, down the street, wherever you are, let's just do it. Let's no longer question it. Let's just do it.
All right, so we're going to share all of Primrose's contact information, how you can get involved in the Sisters organization, the A Few Good Men organization, how you can reach out to her. She can guide you. She can help you. She wants to help you create something in your own community and be collaborative with you. So we're going to give all that information later. So I didn't tell you this in the beginning, but I always ask my guests, do you have any parting words of wisdom for them before we sign off? Anything that you really want them to hear? Anything that you want to share? It can be either a words of wisdom, or it could be more promotion of the upcoming events. It's all you.
You know, let's just leave this world better than it found us. You know, let's just leave it better than it found us.
I love that.
And there are a lot of great things going on.
There really are.
But so much is done in silos, and I just know that we could have a greater impact if we came together.
Agreed.
And we're going to leave it better than it found us.
I love that. You know what? Look, it was 6 to 8 months in the making,
And
but we did it. Yes! All right, you're a joy. Oh my God, everybody was commenting how amazing your energy is.
Thank you.
And you can't fake that. It's not a fake it till you make it. This is really her and her energy and her love for people. It's palpable. I love that. Thank you so much for driving all the way over here from that crazy world of Volusia County all the way to Orange County just to be on the TED Show on a Monday morning.
I appreciate you.
Follow her. Go to Primrose Cameron. You can go to tell us the show names too.
Yeah, so Cameron Chronicles Live is on
Chronicles.
Facebook Live, but Primrose Cameron, right, which is kind of a name that a lot of folks don't have on Twitter.
You can find her real quick.
Yeah, on Twitter I'm Primrose on Air, and then my website is www.primrosecameron.com.
I love it. I absolutely love it. All right,
Instagram
so
the same.
reach out to her. Watch her shows. She's much more popular than me. You got to go to her. Plus, she's prettier and she speaks better. So thank you for being on.
Thank you
guys for tuning in. We love you so much. Thank you. We'll be back in just a few minutes with Manic Monday, and then we've got a 1 o'clock show that you don't want to miss with Mark Hazelwood. But I'm so happy to have Primrose on here. It's a blessing and an honor. So thank you.
So much.
All right. We love you guys.
You take care now.